So, good morning everybody. I hope you're well. Hope you had a good start to your morning. Welcome to my first episode of Coffee with May. And thank you for tuning in. And I've got a very, very special guest this morning. The legendary Mr. Rashid Lombard. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Good. It's good to have you doing an interview rather than still behind a drum kit.
Yeah. I think it's more of a hang, just to hang out and just to engage and talk. And it's been a very long time that we can actually connect on this level, because just remembering running into you with festivals and those kind of things. But firstly, let's start with coffee. I love coffee. I'm a big coffee drinker, and this is Pete. Cheers. Cheers. Let's have this. What do you think? With all the coffees that you've had,
yeah,
what do you think? Nice.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah. So this is a brand called Peacocks, and I'm sure that everyone knows this brand. And it's uniquely blended. It's got a very rich taste to it, as you can taste. And what I've learned with coffee now, I'm not an expert, but what I've learned with coffee now is that you shouldn't apply too much sugar to your coffee, because you actually need to taste the coffee.
Okay.
And that's
just
what
learn something.
That's what I've learned. Yeah.
And have 3 sugar.
And don't you think that's all that we
condensed milk.
Condensed milk, yeah.
With it.
Don't you think that's what we all commonly share? It's coffee, because that's how my morning starts. It starts with a good cup of coffee. Also at a meeting or at a rehearsal, or just going out for breakfast and enjoying a good cappuccino. We enjoy coffee, so
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah. Right, let me get right into it. So let's just get my notes here. So you were born in PE, 60s, and how did you end up in Cape Town?
Yeah, it's like a long journey. Yeah. Yeah, the 60s. And it was all about the. So I grew up I'm born in South End, which is a bit like District 6.
Like in PE?
Yeah,
okay.
For South End, very mixed and cosmopolitan. But it was just after the Group Areas Act. They started moving people out, and that's how my parents decided to move up. In fact, we stayed behind with the uncle. My parents moved to Riversdale, they stayed there a bit, and then the other brother moved to George. Eventually he moved up to Cape Town. He's basically, my father's a trader.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Lombards, it was basically derives from? Like, you all come from PE?
All from PE, yeah. So most of my people are...
Yeah, you're not related to Camilo Lombard?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Although he calls me Pops, and I'm so cheap, just...
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So most of the people know you for a lot of things. They know you for being a jazz promoter or promoter of music. But I think one of the things that most know you for is being a photographer. And you've captured a lot of historical moments. That we get to see now, and your pictures has been exhibited all over the years. Tell me, where did the passion start being a photographer? Was it a hobby? Was it just a hobby, picking up the camera and taking pictures? And how was it in the late 60s and early 70s and during the 70s being a photographer? How was it,
Well, it's my one uncle, my first uncle, lived in George, and he had a roller clips, 2.25 square, and we took pictures of cousins, family all the time. And I was the only one to hold it. It was like his favorite. But I think it was more high school. I went to Witterboma High in Wynberg.
Yep.
And in the art classes, they encouraged sort of a newsletter, and they gave me Instamatic. Remember, small Instamatic. You take some pictures, like sports pictures and so forth. But it was more as a hobby.
Yeah.
Until I met people like James Matthews, who first introduced me to Nina Simone. They did coming from Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin. And,
wow.
And then also literature, obviously. So you contractize, and I think that also helped me find another eye in terms of documentary. It was more, it wasn't news, and it was more documentary. And then a guy like Saki Misbach, Taylor, very well known in the art scene.
Yeah.
There's a Taylor in Marlborough. He got me my first Canon camera. You know, you say, no, now you go out and take pictures. Very much like a lot of other photographers started like that, like George Hallett, the late George Hallett.
Yeah.
And so but later on, you know, as you get conscientized, you realize that there's more to it than just the snaps and eventually, yeah, you know, trying to find a space in working and in terms of finding a career. I studied architecture and drafting at Technicon, Pentec.
Yeah.
And in fact, while working for Marion Roberts, I got myself into the industrial photography. Okay. So I could be out in the field. And while out in the field, I could also document. That was late 70s, early 80s, document what's happening in the street. So I'd always make sure that TV cameras doesn't catch me, otherwise my bosses would see me in the shop. Okay. So it was that kind of thing. But you know, eventually I just decided to give it a go and do it professionally.
So as a photojournalist later, how did you get involved in the political side of things? Did you feel at the time, because of segregation, you just wanted to also create an awareness of through your lens, basically, what's happening, because of your pictures in my generation today, if you did not capture what you've captured, you would have never witnessed some of the things and some of the amazing historical moments that you've captured, you know. So tell me, during that time, being in your youth, you know, moving around and running around and capturing these moments, how was that for you and your family, you know, to experience all of those things?
Well, you know, it actually started early, being conscientized. You know, by 1972, 73, we were really conscientized through people like James Matthews, and it was all about Black conscious movement, being proud, and like I said, Nina Simone, you know,
yeah,
lyrics and the anti-Vietnam War. You know, so we were all into that headspace already, understanding also what's happening in our own country. You know, obviously we went through 76. I was using camera just as a hobby.
Okay.
And so by the time I got a chance to work professionally, you know, I already knew what I was going to do and how camera can become a weapon. So we were activists at a young age.
Yeah.
It's just that I could just find another career. You know, I was basically full working in an office, and I preferred to be out, but also to be part of the action. So how are you part of the action and you working? And you couldn't get a job in the newspapers here. So our best bet was international media. We knew that we could get, you know, our pictures out, and that's how it all started.
Wow, amazing. Later in the 90s, you were afforded the opportunity to be station manager for P4 Radio. I mean, it's known as Hot 104.9 now. Afforded to be the station manager for P4. And was that the moment and time where your love for jazz grew?
No.
So
it came long ago.
It was long ago.
Yeah, yes. I mean, in the 70s, we were listening to Miles Davis, Ornette Coleman, Sonny Rollins. That was John Cole. I mean, I came from rock and roll into jazz.
Okay.
You know, from Jimi Hendrix to Love Supreme.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I know that's all the hip stuff.
Like you said, Jeff wordt getammerd overnight. And, but no, so it's always been there. And working as a photojournalist, music has always been healing. You know, you're working in Africa, you're working in Angola, or up on the borders of Namibia, Southeast Africa. Then, you know, I always had tapes, cassettes, and 2 small speakers.
Yeah.
But before P4, and I was a programs manager, not the station.
Oh, the programs manager, okay.
We started Fine Music Radio. Jacques de Vos-Malan and myself. He was a classical, he was in a symphony orchestra, and I came from a jazz background, so we pitched for a community radio station and we got it.
Yeah.
I was station manager there for 5 years until P4 came and offered triple the salary. And so I moved.
Do you want to tell us the salary at the time or not?
It was something like 6,000 a month.
Wow.
It's like a company fair.
In the 90s, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, while there, Coach Clarence, Dimitri, I just got all the top guys. But anyway, that was how I got into, and of course it was smooth jazz, which I didn't quite know what it was.
Yeah.
And when I realized what it is, it's not what I really like, but you know, you get to appreciate all kinds of music.
Yeah.
If you understand jazz, anything else comes.
Yeah.
You know, hip hop. 1986, I had spent a lot of time with Run DMC, and I got to understand that, you know, the spoken word. I went on tour with them actually.
Wow. As a
photographer.
As a photographer.
I was at Magnum, and I went with a guy, Eli Reed, and we followed them to four or five concerts.
Yeah.
And the opening act was Beastie Boys.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me, during that time, you were also the founder of, as we know today, Cape Town International Jazz Festival. And so we know that that was a huge European festival. That was the North Jazz Festival. So was there a way that you've exchanged with them, you know, having talks with the North Sea directors, jazz directors, and bringing it to Cape Town? I remember I was really young. I was starting out my music career. I was still a student, and under the mentorship of Camilo Lombard, and it was still at the Good Hope Center. The
first one started there,
yeah. So the first one started there. I'm sure I wasn't at the first one. I must have been at the almost close to the very last ones that I was there at the Good Hope Center. I remember at the time, that year at the festival, Erika Badu was there, and Toucan just launched, Frank Buckle just launched this project. And they were playing in the basement downstairs. And wow, as a young and upcoming musician, as a young and upcoming musician, as well as inspiring songwriter and composer, I was really taken away by the festival itself, you know. And tell me, how did that movement start? That you decided that you want to lift jazz up in Cape Town? Because to me, you are one of the guys that has really given Cape Jazz an opportunity. I know that guys like the late Robbie Jansen, Abdullah, that is still flying the flag really high, that has taken it to the world. I know they've been playing, you know, on the underground scenes and stuff, because during those times they could probably not play on certain stages. But I feel like you've kind of created that awakening in it, you know. So can you just tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, you know, with P4, after my 18 months stint, I left.
Yeah.
But I opened the office on the same floor. But prior to that, we set up a listener store. And the listener store was to the North Sea Jazz Festival. And I've been there several times as a photographer. So I knew the festival. I've been to a few festivals in Europe. I normally ran away. People thought I'm working, and I'm chilling out in summer in Europe. So, in the media center, I just decided one more. Clarence was with me. I said, Clarence, he's a Dutchman standing. I'm going to ask him to help us. And I just walked up to Taylor van der Hoek and I said, Taylor van der Hoek, please help us do a festival in Cape Town, South Africa.
And at the time, there was no festival in Cape Town. There was nothing happening.
There was two failed ones. It was a huge KLM sponsored festival, and they launched it at Greenpoint, and Yuma Sakela was there, and the two brothers, famous brothers from the States. So one came. One's a trumpeter, saxophonist.
The Brecker brothers.
No. Great. African Americans. Anyway, they launched it.
Yeah. 2
weeks before it failed, they cancelled. Then another one, some American guys came in, also failed. And that was about 94, 95, and then 97.
Yeah.
So now we're talking 98. Maybe coming on. That year was also the World Cup. in France.
Yeah.
Fun. And Taylor said, yeah, send me a fax. He didn't even give me a card. I thought, okay, let's go chill. He said something. And we didn't send him a fax, we sent him a return ticket, and that's how we started the relationship. But then already I thought, we must start something here. People won't take us serious.
Yeah.
But if we have the backing of Theo van Hoek sitting next to you, who by then the festival was about 15 years old.
Wow.
You know, on another level, they'll be able to introduce you to the agents. And you call an agent, you know, it's like ESJ.
Yeah.
So that kind of credibility, and it worked. I mean, they were amazing. They invested in us. They invested in financially and training people. A lot of Georgie Sill, you know, spent time there.
Yeah.
South African Roadies Association sent people there. So it was a good exercise, and it's established now.
Thank you, and I mean, I could just say thank you to you and Clarence them and the guys.
Clarence Ford was very much part of it.
Yeah, you know, that has really, you know, brought Cape Jazz alive, basically, you know, and having us today enjoy it and get to exhibit our talent and our music, you know.
And it's done by local guys.
It's done by local guys.
Yeah, all the word local.
Yeah, local.
Everyone's carrying by the word local. It's like, you know, locals is a bloody word.
It's a word, yeah.
Yeah, everyone's saying, I heard in Toomside the other day, oh, we mustn't use local. They're almost talking against themselves. What are we?
Yeah.
We're not international.
Yeah.
We're South Africans.
We're locals from South Africa.
Yeah.
That's
what
we are. Absolutely.
And sometimes you don't have to compare yourself. You always say, oh, but we're at par with other. Miles Davis said, your music's either good or bad.
Yeah. And ours is good. Very good.
We only do good music, otherwise, you know.
Yeah.
You're not a musician.
Yeah. Also, I just wanna. We've lost a great saxophonist over the weekend.
Yeah.
Mr. David Rubain, and I remember at college, David Rubain was one of the lecturers. I was at an institution called Prompt, which was headed by a guy called Rod Harrod. I don't know if you.
UK, yeah. You were at college, no?
Yes. I was there, and there was great teachers there, and David Rubain was one of the teachers. Man, what a saxophonist, what a horn player.
Well, you know, I mean, sure, I've seen him at West End, I saw him he played at Swingers and all those places. I mean, he played with the likes of Basil Kutsi, but more with Robbie. You know, and there's some interesting.
He was playing on a record with Abdullah, right?
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And I mean, if you start listening to him, that he's also one of the sort of kept the Guma sound alive. In the Cape, there's a very distinctive sound. If you go to New Orleans, you listen to the sound come from New Orleans. Yes, like the Guma.
Yeah.
You know, the likes of Basil Kutsi, Errol Guys on guitar, Robert Jansen, Abdullah. You know, it's identity, and that is him, and he's passing. It's very sad. I photographed him quite a few times.
Yeah.
And at one stage he disappeared. Apparently he's been working in Dubai.
He was in the UAE. I spent some time with him in the UAE, in Abu Dhabi. And we became close, and we spent, because I mean, you've got a lot of time during the day. I was doing a gig out there as well. And what I loved about the man, he was a very strict gentleman. You know, was together. He was always conscious about his sound and his playing. You know, quiet guy.
Yeah.
So we just want to remember him as well. We got to wrap up soon, but I just have two more questions for you. If you were not a jazz promoter, a photographer, what would you be? You know, what do you think?
What would I be?
What would you have been if you were not
a club owner?
A club owner, and why is that?
So I could have everything else here. Entertainment, I could smell people, I could smell the music, and as a business. You know?
As a business,
Showbiz is a business, and I'd probably have a club.
That's cool. What are you currently busy with? What's your projects or your?
Well, you know, since I left the sort of the boardroom 2014, I started a family business because of my kids and the interest media. My daughter worked with me in Jazz Festival, and so we've been doing lots of consulting with clients in Nigeria that have festivals, and we're just taking events to another level of it comes Mozambique and in Angola.
Nice.
But I've also been working with the University of Western Cape, looking at the Center for Archiving and Digitizing Cultural Heritage, starting with my photographic archives.
Lovely.
And create a home for other archives. You know, people have lots of, eventually you're going to have lots of notes and papers, you know. Families just throw it away where it's history, and writing new curriculum for our postgraduate students to study people.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's important. It's done all over the world. And I think University of Western Cape is the place to be.
That's awesome. And you posted a picture on Saturday. It was Tata Madiba's birthday on Saturday. Celebrated all the family sort of in memory of him. You know, kind of exhibited a lot of pictures and stuff all over social media. I saw that you've posted a picture that you were sitting with him. You know, and I could see the engagement, the way you were looking at him and the way he was looking at you. And can you tell me a little bit more about that picture? I do know that you also captured the shot, the historical picture where he came out of prison and we held his hand up with Winnie Mandela. Can you just tell me?
The most difficult picture actually, because there were hundreds of media, and as soon as he came near, although we all said we would stand, everyone just...
But that was like the shot.
Everyone just moved forward. But I had an old Bucky. I got a guy from Annenberg Park, Bucky there, so I was on Bucky and I didn't have to move.
Yeah.
But it was just magic, just at one shot where you could see his shoes as well.
Yeah.
That was day one. So day two was at 2000, day three he flew back to Soweto to his house. And that's where I went to. And I was doing a feature on him for Essence magazine, American magazine.
Yeah.
The editor came down. But the intimacy, because when you photograph people with suits on, you know what happens? Your jacket.
Right.
So I went up to him and I pulled his jacket. And he said, "You're like a soldier." And I just thought, let me engage him. I'll be engaged.
Yeah.
It was my turn to photograph him.
Yeah.
They were very strict how they were operating.
Yeah.
But then he asked me, you know, you were talking, and he said, "Oh, your pictures, about the ANC and so forth," and I could just engage him, but trying to make him look smart. It's a trick I always do, even presidents, you just do that.
Yeah.
You know, and you break that ice in terms of how you photograph people. And and I mean, after that, I traveled with him as his personal photographer. His first trip to Angola, to Lusaka, Zimbabwe.
Wow.
And then his election campaign, I was a personal photographer here. So it's quite, and that's the only picture I have of the two of us. 1990.
It's a beautiful, beautiful picture. So one more question. What do you feel, how do you feel Cape Jazz now with young composers and young musicians that's coming up? Do you feel that our industry is in safe hands? As a promoter, do you think that you could take younger musicians out and exhibit them to the world? And how do you feel us as a country to sort of, you know, govern and embrace our music, you know, more and to exhibit it much more than what it is?
Firstly, I mean, if I look at the new generation of musicians, the younger musicians, they're schooled, they're smart, they understand law, they understand contracts, you know, which is, it's the first sort of basis of being strong and understanding yourself. Secondly, if you look at the music coming out, it's phenomenal. And without doubt, you know, and without wanting to label yourself that we also international, I just can't talk, you know, just leave that.
Yeah.
The music speaks for itself. And I think, well, if you look at the 14 years I've done the Jazz Festival, all the international people, and we had lots coming, they all came for the South African music. Because the rest they can see.
Yeah.
You know, you can see, it's not like here, you see the Bensons and that, you know, weekly. So they came for the South African artists, and And having taught artists internationally to Gilbert and the North Sea, to Sweden, it's just phenomenal. And today, I mean, you can see Sweden, they're always playing these groups, you know, and they're moving around. And the standard of the music is so high. So I'm very confident that you know, post the Mankunkus and the Robbie, all their efforts is paid off. So there's a whole new generation that's going to make money. Number one, you mustn't be shy about making money. Showbiz is a business.
Right.
And take the music further. And I think the education is very important. There's a flip side to it we mustn't forget, is that in order for the music to come across well, it's the technical people.
Yeah.
You know, currently on
Facebook Live.
I was talking, other day I just shut my mouth off. I just thought, no, fuck this up, you say something. Somebody was saying about, oh, you know, you must support, I think it was a great something, the whole online. And I said, no. I want to smell the music, I want to smell the people. It's almost as if this online is going to be the next thing. It can't be.
Yeah.
You know, how many jobs, how many careers you're going to fuck up. People who've been training, you know, stagehands, the technical people, marketing people, logistics. It's a whole generation.
Yeah.
Young.
Everyone contributes with the sound.
You online, no, Becky Suni, sorry. We are going to overcome the shit. You know, it's just, like you say, meditate sound.
Yeah.
Meditate sound. And I think it's important that we focus in that direction. So the venues can open again. So that, you know, there's, right now, musicians who never think of don't have food on the table. I'm sure you met a lot of them. You know, so there's a whole organization with Carlo Fabe and Jaya Reddy then, which I'm helping, and getting, you know, people to support. So there's vouchers going out.
Yeah.
But it's short term.
Yeah.
It's short term. But otherwise, I think the music industry is very healthy. You know, we contribute hugely to GDP. Tourism can't do without us.
Yeah.
You know, the entertainment industry, because everything is dance and there's other aspects of the arts as well.
Yeah.
That's how I.
Awesome. I've grown a big love for arts, you know, for paintings and all these things, and we in this amazing space, Youngblood Africa, and you know, speaking to the team that's set up here, you know, they would always tell me about an amazing artist that moves around this space and this beautiful gallery that we are in, and the art, you know, and that is also such an amazing form of exhibiting who you are as an artist, you know, painting and all. I know I was at Hilton Schilder's place one day, and he was playing his piano, and in that moment of playing his piano, he stopped playing, and then he was painting. And then he played, and then he was painting.
He's quite an artist.
He's quite an artist, yeah. So what do you think about this space?
I've walked through the gallery. It's fabulous, number one. So I've been here before. I'm a trustee of Jazz Art, and we had our end of year function here about a year or two years ago. We had our last board meeting. It was the end of year. But I just looked at some of the artwork here. I was quite impressed with it. It's beautiful. But I like the space because it's just like an old building. You know, I like vintage.
Yeah.
And also being a collector, so I've got a lot of artwork there. And so support the arts fraternity. But they all go hand in hand, you see.
Yeah, it's music, it's art, it's, you know.
They all drink coffee.
People that
stay awake. Sanjay.
Yeah. I think just a last message to our viewers and followers that's watching this now. From me personally, you know, I'd love to encourage our viewers and our followers to continue supporting the arts and continue supporting our musicians. We are definitely going through a lot of difficult times now, you know, and I think all that we want to do is play our instruments. We just want to play, and I think it's important for us as artists and musicians. It starts with us first. We have to support each other, you know. So go out, stream someone's concert if we have to stream it, buy someone's album, and yeah, basically. I'm going to show you. You got me a gift. Oh my word!
But I want to show you that picture.
Oh, this is David Dubé. Oh my word! I think I need to go in so that I can just show our followers
That was 1988. Oh, young.
This is your picture?
Yeah.
1988. Oh, and we've got Jonathan Butler on the front as well. Okay, let me just show the followers this picture. Guys, see this beautiful picture. I don't know if you guys can see. This is in 1988, the late David Rubain, which we lost on Saturday. And this is a beautiful gift that Rashid Lombard gave me. This is beautiful. Wow, this is amazing. Thank you so much. I just wanna see with our viewers there and our followers if anyone has said something. I wanna ask you something. Quite a few people have tuned in. Uncle Stan, how are you? Alvin Hendricks is there. Hi, Al, how are you doing? Hi, Lottie, how's it going? Beautiful. Ryan is there. Alton. Hi, Yana. Yana tuned in. Rene Johnson's. Sydney Suss is there. Freddie Arends is there. What a beautiful nylon string guitar player and composer. Yeah. Aldred Jordan is there. It's an amazing friend of mine as well. Celeste Williams. I just want to acknowledge everybody. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Uncle Rashid, thank you so much for joining me. This is the new shake, and I hope to get together with you and just hang out again sometime. Cheers. Let's cheers on a coffee. Yeah. Oh man, cheers. Thank you so much. Thanks. All right, guys. Love you, and tune in tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m. I'll be having Chad Simon joining me, and I hope you guys are well. God bless you.